Mr. Chairman, members, good morning. Happy Friday to you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning to lay out House Bill 5510, the Texas Women and Child Protection Act. Members, as you know, in recent years, Texas has been on the forefront in the fight for the sanctity of life in this nation. We have passed, among other things, the Texas Heartbeat Act, the Texas Trigger Law. These are the legal operations of the abortion industry. As a result of those, the legal operations of the brick and mortar abortion industry in Texas have all but been shuttered. I want to say in the outset, Mr. Chairman, that, and I hope the members will hear me on this, that I know that there's strong disagreement on this issue, and when we talk about the issue of abortion, it can and naturally does engender strong passions and emotions, and I want you to know that I'm going to, as for the bill in front of you today, treat this issue with the care and caution that it deserves, and I'm not only happy but eager to be here in front of you today to engage in a dialogue about what I consider to be a really, really important ongoing threat, not only to Texas preborn children, but to Texas women. I know, looking across the dais, I know where each of you stand on the issue of abortion, and you know where I stand. I'm hoping this morning that as part of this discussion, and even subsequently as we discuss and deliberate, and hopefully ultimately vote on this bill on the House floor, I'm not trying to convince you to vote for it, but I am trying to compel you to. And I am going to keep my layout fairly brief and hit the basics of the bill. I'm happy to answer any questions, and then we've got some great witnesses here today that I know want to share their stories as well. I also want to mention that just earlier this week, another committee in the House, rightfully so, pulled down a bill that was on its agenda that would have, it's a bill we're unfortunately familiar with now here in the legislature, that would have criminalized women. And I want you to know that this bill in no way does that. This bill in no way targets any woman who has an abortion with either civil or criminal penalties. I would never carry such a bill. The right decision was made to pull that bill down in that committee. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for giving this bill a hearing. The bill truly does protect Texas women. That's the heartbeat. That's the intent of the bill. As I mentioned earlier, the abortion industry in Texas, as a result of the laws that we've passed and what's happened at the federal level, has, in many cases here in Texas, virtually all across the board, shuttered their brick and mortar operations. But they have shifted tactics. The abortion industry is smart and clever and experienced. We're seeing this in other states, but Texas is leading the nation when it comes to mailing abortion pills that are purchased online. An estimated, based on the numbers we know of, an estimated 20 to 30,000 abortion pills are shipped into Texas every year. These pills, as you're going to learn in testimony today, not only, of course, if they're effective, terminate the life of the unborn child by essentially starving the baby in the womb, but they also wreak havoc on a woman's body. And in a post-Roe world that we're living in now, where abortion drugs are being purchased online, and members, just to kind of set the stage for you if you're not aware, that this is as simple as someone going online and searching. You can Google abortion. I actually did this last night as I was preparing for the bill. You can Google abortion, and you can be directed to any number of websites that will send you to out-of-state manufacturers and distributors, providers, and within a matter of minutes after submitting virtually very basic health information, you can purchase and be giving a shipping tracking notification for abortion drugs. They'll show up on your doorstep in a nondescript package, and very little to no informed consent, very little to no information about potential complications and side effects, very little to no information about what a woman should expect when she actually terminates a pregnancy, including the horrific reality that she might actually pass what is a fully formed human baby at 10 to 12 weeks with a heartbeat. And these drugs, that's what these drugs are doing. And so when we as we've discussed over the past 10 years, Chairman King, since we've been in the legislature for we're in our 7th session now, the whole idea of telemedicine is a good discussion that we've had and we should continue to have, is how we make healthcare more accessible and affordable, and how we innovate and utilize technology to meet the healthcare needs of Texans. But I don't think, I'll just speak for me, that when we talk about telemedicine, I never expected and anticipated that telemedicine would include teleabortions. And that is what is happening right now, to the tune of 20 to 30,000 a year. And these are all out-of-state, in many cases out-of-country providers that are shipping these pills into the state of Texas. So, and members, as I mentioned, these drugs starve the child to death, and they also induce labor. And as I mentioned, rather than being told the risks, mothers are told that their abortion, in some cases, will be safer than taking Tylenol. She'll be left to experience the short and long-term physical risks of an at-home abortion, in many cases alone. And then, of course, the trauma that comes from that experience. Abortion drug trafficking also increases forced abortion, abuse, and crimes against women. It enables sexual predators and human traffickers to continue perpetrating abuse. And I think that, members, if we're honest with each other, which I know we will be, that this should concern all of us. So this bill, what it does, and then I'll be quiet, Mr. Chair, and I'll open this for questions. What this bill does is it essentially gives the state of Texas civil long-arm jurisdiction to these out-of-state manufacturers, distributors, providers. It creates a wrongful death cause of action on behalf of the unborn child. It allows the women in the state of Texas, who in many cases are harmed by these drugs that are sent in again from out of state, it gives them recourse. I want to be very clear about what this bill does at its core. Is right now, under current law, Mr. Chairman and members, a woman who is harmed by one of these pills, and you're going to hear from some stories today about very serious medical harms to these women, they have no recourse, no remedy, no one to sue, no cause of action. They are left without any options. And this bill is intended to provide the tools and the civil resources to, in a case where a woman is harmed or someone wants to pursue a wrongful death cause of action, to pursue those out-of-state distributors, manufacturers, anyone in that chain of distribution. So I think I could go on and on into the details of the bill. It's a 30-page bill. I hope that you have reviewed the committee substitute, members. The committee substitute is substantially different than the filed bill in many really good ways, including removing the entire section on criminal liability, not for the women but for others, and making some other really necessary, I think, clarifying changes as well. And my hope is that as part of this discussion today and going forward, that we can lock arms together and, as I know this committee always does, engage in responsible and reasonable discussions about how we continue to create a culture of life in Texas, starting with protecting our Texas women. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to close and take questions.